The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. About a half hour away from the famed 2.5-mile Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway lies the 7/10 mile track here in Claremont. Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis Raceway Park, better known as IRP, has been the little brother that has held some good racing here. And here we are tonight for some triple bypass fun. We're bringing the ARCA cars here to the short track, and let's see who can master Little Indianapolis. Welcome everyone to PTR TV for today's coverage. Again, triple bypass ARCA series here today. Again, our ARCA series is presented by Cultured Designs. We want to thank them for what they do. Here in the booth is myself, Corey Silva, doing the commentary and the production, and Howie Burrows here are our sponsor from our Cup race the other day. Gonna join me in the booth for some ARCA action. So Howie, I know you like your short track racing, but I know you said you're not too up with this ARCA car, so it should be interesting to see what they do tonight.
Well, I complain a lot about the ARCA car on larger circuits, but I will be honest, Triple Bypass have done something very cool with their schedule around here. Lots of short tracks all around the schedule, and some fun custom setups too that get the worst out of it. This is one of the larger short tracks that they run, of course, but just above half a mile, and much longer, wider turns are quite flat around. A lot of people hate flat ovals, but I do have a thing for them. They do quite test your patience just getting the thing around there.
Yeah, this track does have some progressive banking. Is qualifying going on right now. A couple drivers making their laps here, but this is Brad Kress in the 9 car. As we'll kind of go to our static cam here, you can see some progressive banking, very flat, but the bottom of the racetrack essentially just 0 degrees. I think at the top it's probably less than 12. I don't have my Wikipedia pulled up, but you'll see them rim riding here. You'll see them trying to cut down the track, Howie, and trying to get whatever grip they can on that low side, but certainly the outside is going to be where you're going to want to make your lap time.
The Gavins are trying to make quite the deal out of the fact that this is apparently the site of Jason Benson's only victory back in the Gen 4. Oh, I wish he would come back anytime soon. So that could mean either good things or bad things. Either a wonderful story of domination or possibly a wrecked race car in the back. Big field as ever for this ARCA series. It's been very, very popular. I've not really been able to make it to many of these, but I would enjoy short track racing around here. And there's only a few rounds left in the season. Full season points instead of the playoff system from the Cup Series. But it's pretty much North Wilkesboro, Nashville Fairgrounds, and then Rockingham to finish the season.
Yeah, and of course, we will only be bringing you 2 of those races. Of course, well, we're here tonight, so we're bringing you this. And then we will be bringing you North Wilkesboro. The other 2 races to finalize the season will be on the Virtual Grip Network. And who knows, maybe I'll be behind the wheel for those races. Now, if you watched our Sunday broadcast, of course, that Howie so gracefully sponsored, we ran into the night at Pocono. We won't have that problem here today, as we will transfer time and head under the lights, but we do have lights for that. But let's take a look at the weather as of now, which is going to be irrelevant in about probably 1 minute. About 70-degree track temp, 69 to be specific, 7 o'clock virtual time, and we are racing out of the virtual March 31st, which I'm shocked that it's still light out at 7 o'clock in March, but that's my knowledge of the seasonal system for you.
I wouldn't exactly call anything about my sponsorship graceful. Number one, your accent just put it onto such a great start. You know, you really definitely sold the British accent. But then from that point onwards, that was surely one of the triple bypass days to remember. I sponsored 2 races this season, and both were some of the most painful for you. And for that reason, I think I might come back for more next time around.
Yeah, you just seem to take the mickey out of me. You take the piss out of me, as a couple of euphemisms I don't think I used the other day. But that is the end of qualifying here. So again, want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV as we click over into the nighttime conditions here. If it's your first time, don't make it your last. Hit that like and subscribe button on our mission to 1,300 subscribers. And just use a little bit of help from you to help us get there. But let's head down trackside. Howie, I'll have you start off and let them know where the drivers are going to be starting here today at Lucas Oil IRP.
Justin Baxter on pole, next to Adam Kunman on the outside on the front row. Terry Brooks and Adam Boss take row 2 and 3rd and 4th. There's Mark Herzog and Stephen Gibson in 5th and 6th. Caleb Brown and Brad Kress in 7 and 8. And Chad Winstead and James Honeycutt making up the back of the top 10.
All right, and then we have about 26 strong here today. So the next set, Curtis Mitchell in 11th, Nicholas Deal going to be in the 12th position. Then we have Dylan Freeman in 13th. Don't know why these paint schemes are a little off there, but whatever. We get Al Corey in 15th, Mark Gerald in 16th, Donald Ristow in 17th with Jason Benson trying to get another triple bypass win here at IRP out of the 18th spot. And rounding out our top 20, we got David Rhodes and Adam Shaw Clifford, the big red dog, and us to finalize things up there, Howie.
Still more on the back. Quite a big pack today here at the track. In 21st, Angel Resendez, then Connor Rice in 22nd. I almost said 62nd. Matt Alfredsson's in 23rd next to Matt Harmon. And Samson Lewis Jr. and Cameron Kane on the back.
That is our grid. I don't know why our little picture car previews were off, but Howie knows how ATVO works, and it is a progress. But anyways, that is our starting lineup. Our race details, sponsored by, we don't have a sponsor for this segment. It is 145 laps around IRP, times that by 0.67. That's your miles. I'm not going to do that math for you. No stages. And here is the interesting thing we were talking about off air, Howie, with this series. 1 set of tires. We don't know quite what the fall off, what the degradation is, but only 1 set of tires. And when you take it is the very difficult decision.
Apparently, according to the fuel numbers we got in, you can do this race on just 1 stop, and you have quite a large window to do it in as well. You're not going to run short early, but there could easily be cautions. There's always a couple on a track like this, and sometimes timing can really get you. I like to read the field early and work out how they're going to drive.
We'll see how that works out. Again, our preferred lane here at IRP, right on the top of the racetrack, but you can certainly make some grip up on the bottom, depending, as that track heats up, dynamic track, rubber buildup, all that fun stuff. You'll find your way around here. But let's see what happens coming down the back straightaway here at Lucas Oil Raceway, at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Better yet, just call it IRP. Justin Baxter in the 58, the Crown Royal Machine. We got Mobile 1 to the outside in the form of Alan Kunman, and Terry Brooks, our series sponsor, going to be in P3. Pace car has pulled in, waiting for Barney to get us under command with the green flag. And here we go racing here at the short track. Side by side off turn number 2, getting that run off the outside, and that will persevere. We have Alan Kunman going from the outside of the racetrack, getting that P2, getting it working, and he will clear. Now Justin Baxter stuck to the inside. He'll fall to 3rd. Can he get to the outside in front of Terry Brooks? He cannot. Pole to potentially 4th, and maybe even more here on the opening lap there, Howie.
Trying to work out the lines drivers quite want to run around here. Seeing a variety, because there's some on the bottom, some on the top, and plenty trying to cut their way through the middle. Even though that top line is progressively banked, there's only a little bit in there, and you might use up your tyres trying to run the rim a bit too hard. So he's just off the wall. Adam Boss, though, not getting momentum down low up front.
Yeah, not making that inside lane work. Somebody else to the inside of the racetrack is Mark Herzog in that generically iRacing stock scheme. Number 51, Brad Kress. Traditionally a good short track racer is that Flow Racing Mustang. Brad Kress He's going to rip around the outside, closing in on Stephen Gibson, who won the Pocono British Night Race Spectacular the other day. He's got that Taco Bell car, and there goes Crest, just getting a little bit higher of a run. They're coming down the racetrack as we may have a battle for the leads stemming up here.
That momentum starting to build on the bottom. Adam Boss has been trying it quite a few times, getting more and more even every run. I don't know how hard he's sending it into turns to get this done. He does wash up just a bit on the mid-turn. If he doesn't get it here, he'll get it in 1 or 2 times, I think. I think he is fast down there. I wonder if he is putting a lot of work into those tyres to make this work, though. He's washing very wide, and he might just push Cudman into the wall.
Yeah, he's got to watch out here down to that inside lane. Again, that's a lot of load on the right front on entry. And then right from the back end of the corner turns into a lot of load on the right rear. So there he goes right to that yellow line. He will clear. Lead change. Adam Bossy has gone P1 here. And again, Terry Brooks, he's right back there. Again, our race sponsor, our series sponsor. All of the PTR TV races brought to you by that number 23 Cultured Designs Camaro. Again, they do a lot of work there, contractor related work in the North Carolina region. So if you are in that Concord, North Carolina region, you can check them out at Cultured Designs. But here comes Brad Kress on his charge through the field in that inside lane, Howie. Even without the banking, that inside lane seems to be a little bit more competitive than I expected it to be.
Might see evolution over track distance, but I find with tracks that are on the flatter side, you have to use the brakes to slow down so much into the turns, and you're just on the edge of grip that don't quite get to run like you can at Homestead, Miami, and the likes. That's coming and been to the wall on the exit. A few others trying to run higher though. Stephen Gibson in that Taco Bell 90, I think, is one of the highest runners on the track. Although even then, Brad Kress is getting alongside, so I'm not sure what's completely bedded in yet, but we're seeing more and more go high. That is the 23 of Terry Brooks, seems to be getting a bit of a run up there.
Got a run up high and then took that momentum and tried to go down low with it as Brad Kress again trying to fight for that low line, going all the way down to the apron and then some there. Got loose on that yellow line there as Brad Kress again de-wedges the car, gets it a little bit loose. I mean, even 2 degrees of banking down to 0. It's not much, Howie, but it is enough of a difference there, as I think that Polaroid car, Caleb Brown, I think he was intentionally running the apron through 1 and 2, interestingly enough.
Whenever there's a flat track with an apron I can cut, I usually end up being the sucker that does it, whether it's fast or not. It's not always a great idea, but I'm just sort of tempted by, the shortest way through the turn. So I can see people doing it because it's one of those tracks, so it's pretty safe to take it. If you're trying to get your way under someone, you're allowed to use it. It's so much more space up and around there. Still side by side now. That outside for Stephen Gibson's been proving fast. So both lanes have been showing a little bit of contact, but you were almost scared of that ending worse. Is that 76 a Honeycutt? They're having a horrible run in the back. He's slowing down on the outside, but Gibson's running fast there. So I think it's more about your approach than actually where you are on the track.
Yeah, at this point in the race, I mean, how aggressive do you want to go? You're kind of having to bank on the long run strategy here. Get only 1 set of tires, according to Al Corey. The fuel load should be around 110 laps, but I imagine you'll probably want to split that as close as possible. But will it go that far? Will we have green flag stops? I know kind of a crazy thing to say on a track of this size, but it is plausible. Going all the way back in the back, Dylan Freeman in the Avril Lavigne automobile, passing Adam Shaw, who is not Clifford the Big Red Dog, much to my disappointment, but that is the pass for position. But going back up to the front, Alan Cunman, who did drop back, is finding a second life here. Maybe he did save a little bit of tire. Was a half a second, back to 2/10, and Justin Baxter, again, our pole sitter, he's starting to charge in here 15 laps in.
I wouldn't try and use your stuff too hard early in a short track race. It's a very quick way to be suffering by the end of the run. And by the way these drivers have been running, we are certainly not going to get a repeat of Pocono. I think we are going to have quite the green flag runs with maybe an incident or 2 somewhere to break this up. So at this point, you've seen the way this pack drives. You probably want to start being a little bit patient. Gibson's on the top. Here's Honeycutt also just giving up space. People are just sort of losing out mid-corner. They're losing momentum, and sometimes that space has been taken. Other times people are just thinking, I'll stick here right now and I'll get it later.
So we have one lap down driver already. That's Samson Lewis in the 007 car, and that is wall riding here. Try that in NASCAR-25, but maybe not here on iRacing. Less than advantageous. That forces everyone down to the inside of the track. That could open up an opportunity to take advantage of the situation and make it pass, but actually he is just going to throw the binders on hardcore and get out of the way as quickly as possible. He's kind of doing the old Norm Benning, running as slow as possible off the pace, but still chugging around trying to make laps.
I would say you want that lap back via a caution, but haven't seen any incident that triggered that, so it might actually just be a pace issue, and if it is, I don't think getting that lap back really saves the rest of your race. You'll be back. It's even if you're struggling, to be honest, it's always a credit to just try and learn out there on the track and learn around others. So I respect him as long as he keeps his car to himself, you know.
Exactly that. We always say the gentleman's approach, the sportsman approach. We saw that in the Cup race at the Portland International Raceway a few weeks back, although many of the drivers didn't take the trip to Oregon for that race. The drivers that did troop most of the laps out, and whether they had fun or not, they did do the race in its entirety, so you always appreciate that. Curtis Mitchell, the bright orange Chevy automobile, looking to the inside of Nicholas Deal. And is he clear? Is he clear? Well, now he's clear because the Nicholas just mutilated the turn 4 wall.
Few drivers running up against the wall, not the first one. You don't want to be that tight this early because, you know, the wonderful thing about destroying the right front, you can talk to me about destroying the right front tyre any day because it's my main passion on ovals in iRacing, is that once you start getting tight this way, it gets worse and worse and worse, and so you use more and more wheel, and so it gets worse and worse and worse. So if you're 23 laps into a race at IRP, you might be in trouble, but hopefully that was just a one-off misjudgment. I would start running the bottom if that become a serious problem for me, but still not sure what really is faster. Probably the
we're wrecking in the back. Caught that one live. My amazing production skills managed to cut to that one and catch it live. So put me in the running for the producer. I
always respect a producer that can catch it live.
Yeah, put me in the production list there. Hugo Luis, watch out. But yeah, 007 to Sampson tried to get out of the way. Didn't quite succeed in that endeavor here. We'll get one more brief look at it. Sometimes, Howie, it's the logic of when you try so hard to get out of the way, sometimes it actually puts you more in the way.
It looks like Rhodes washed right up in the way to me. He doesn't turn the car through the turn enough, probably because of contact with that, the run-in with the 31. Not contact, but the run-in with the 31 ahead makes him tight, and then he's just plowing towards the wall. He's going to hit the wall if he doesn't hit the 007. Yeah. Fortunately, he is just in the wrong place. Yeah,
he was hoping that the pace of Sampson would have been slow enough that he would have been clear of him and been able to use all that real estate, but unfortunately, not to be the case here. But this will be a caution lap number 25. Pit road is only occupied by Rhodes and Adam Shaw, interestingly enough. I mean, Shaw, I don't recall it being a part of that, but I also don't remember more than 7 seconds ago. I have the memory of a goldfish, but this wouldn't put you in a fuel window per what Al Corey had privied us to. And you also wouldn't want to take tires right now, so you have to stay on the racetrack.
Shaw got tangled up at the very end of that, but he only took a very minor tap to the front and he decided to tow. Oh no, he didn't decide to tow to the pits for it, but maybe he just thought, I'm at the back of this pack, I'm going to take fuel and split the strategy. That might be the game.
Yeah, rut row there to Angel Resendez taking his fast repair there. I was just about to say that the damage that 333 car acquired didn't seem too catastrophic, but the visual may not have met the mechanical there. He could have had some tow suspension related issues, and that was going to be the only reprieve. So one fast repair taken. I know that was kind of a loose discussion, Howie. I don't even know if we should be having this discussion, but I'm going to have it anyways. Sometimes having that fast repair can be a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes it's good to be able to have that as a reprieve. Sometimes people kind of think if you get damage, you should be able to just, deal with the consequences of it.
Look, the mechanics of the fast repair were a sore spot on my first sponsored race this season. I think you'll find it just didn't really work properly for me, but I had races at places like super speedways where like somebody just sort of causes the first wreck stupidly, and then believe it or not, they're out there again because they can fix the car entirely. I mean, the league tries to be casual, the league tries to be among friends, and I think it's part of just what they are.
Exactly that here, as we will try it one more again here. First caution of the race, lap number 27. Let's try it again. Adam Bossy to the inside, Kunman to the outside. The outside worked well the first time, but that jump that Kunman did not get will allow Bossy to drive off into corner number 1. And let's see if Baxter can get in the line. He struggled from the pole, and he's struggling again. That inside lane seems to be his kryptonite.
This is a start on green series, so really both drivers had an equal shot at that, and only one actually got the jump at all, so that entire lane got kind of screwed. I thought Terry Brooks was a little bit slow on the restart. He could have dropped positions. He didn't actually pick it back up again. He is still now where he should be. There's space for him to send it up the inside if he wants to on the cars up ahead, although he doesn't have to in this very moment, but everybody's running the top half of this track. No one's quite going for sends on the bottom. I think when people want their passes, they are going to go wild for them.
Yeah, they'll have to. You'll see some divers later in the race, some haymakers. Whoa, whoa, Terry Brooks, sideways, save it. And that,
is pointing forward.
Did he? We'll get a look on the replay, and I think we may have to make the your favorite award, Howie. We may have to redeem it very early in tonight's race. Oh my goodness, that thing was 45 degrees sideways, and he's still saving it here at this point through the grass.
It's not even in last. It's come out of his 16th, and he'll be able to make up some of those places on pace. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to ask for it because it's your call to make, but that was pretty impressive.
Absolutely. I think we have but no choice.
How did you save that car? Well, I'm just so daggone good.
The Ricky Rudd Save of the Race Award. If anybody else has one, I'm sorry. It's already been dispersed. That goes to our series sponsor. Going a little bit further back, Benson won a Gen 4 race. I mean, we're subtracting about 300 horsepower here today. Maybe he needs those other 300 horsepower to get that win here at IRP, but he's struggling, and here's Freeman to his arrears, and behind that, you see a couple drivers who were in that incident earlier, and just ahead of that, I saw the Cinnabon car into the wall. That is Mark Gerald.
I'm surprised to be seeing so many cars in the wall myself. I just saw Nicholas Steele on my screen also go in. He's not the only one, you know, everybody's sort of giving it a bit of a scrape. I feel like if this is becoming a problem for you, like there's so many other lines here you could run that I wouldn't just emphasize trying to go as high as possible. I actually wonder which one's better for the tires as well. Sometimes cutting down to the bottom can help you in the long run, and we've seen some pace on it. So everybody's getting a little bit enthusiastic with that thing. I know about the Darlington stripe. I don't really know about the IRP stripe. I don't really think that's a part of history.
Yeah, it doesn't also roll off the tongue nearly as well either, but it's just, and in terms of what you were saying about with the tire preservation, I know typically here on iRacing how it's rendered is that where there's rubber, naturally where there's rubber, there's less abrasion, so you want to run on the rubbered section of the track. When you run on the track that is not visually rubbered in, naturally it's more abrasive. So just where we're looking at visually, what we can tell, that upper lane does not seem to have that visual rubber put into it. Therefore, on top of the additional load, I would imagine that would also create some additional tire wear.
Maybe I'm the one with the skill issue. I always am. I was 2K at one point. I don't know how I did that, to be honest. I mean, I'll be back one day. I see some drivers sending it down a little bit more. That's Mark Herzog there, sending it on the bottom. He's now getting a bit more aggressive down there. He's going to wash up. A little bit of contact with Baxter on the outside. Tries again. He's almost on the apron the way he's running that turn. But, oh, momentum on exit's terrible down there. It really is. Like, yeah, if you cut down too low, you just lose your corner exit. And, you know, the first thing Herzog does, he just runs it back up high again.
Yeah, he's got to preserve it. He doesn't want to open the door for the 97 because a lot of times you see this at the Bristol Motor Speedway quite a bit, where when a driver goes to make a pass on the bottom of the racetrack, the guy behind fills the gap in on the outside. So when that inside pass fails, you know, you end up going to make a pass and then you lose a spot in the shuffle. And I think that's what Winstead was looking for and hoping for. And Herzog had to press the abort button there, so to speak, and fall back in line. Behind that, Brad Kressigan, he's been working through the field. Then you have quite a bit of a gap as you go back towards James Honeycutt in that number 76 car. But one thing I forgot to do in pre-race, because just forgot, no real excuses, our point standings here after 12 races, as again we have 4 races left to go. Kunman up by 7 over Bossy. Brad Kress not too far back, 21. Then you have Terry Brooks, Justin Baxter, the top 5. So Kunman and Bossy, a battle that we're going to have to pay attention to. And ironically enough, where are they on the pylon, 1 and 2?
Well, what does full running consistency get you in a format like this? It gets you a battle sometimes all the way to the end. We're not going to have that conversation.
Wait, we don't need to manipulate things for entertainment? It can happen naturally? Gasp!
You don't need to do it because I find elimination slightly charming, but that's why we won't have that conversation right now. It's working here right now, okay? It is producing this battle here right now. And I think it will pan out differently over the course of the next 100 laps. I mean, the tyre wear is going to be so different, and when people take those pit stops or strategy, because not a Yanto Fest, is, I think, going to really, really flip the script, and both of them are going to be thinking through when to stop as well as how to get their laps done here.
Yeah, that's just something that I've seen here in our races is Adam Bossy tends to be somebody who has a short run speed. Kunman, I haven't really associated him with either way in terms of what his pace will be over the course of the season. He has 2 wins. Bossy does have 3. I associate Bossy, though, with more domination over the course of the season, but, you know, my memory, again, is not too great, so shouldn't put stats there as too much indication there. But that is Sampson going 2 laps down here, just as a reference there, Howie, just so we can kind of get a scope. 22:38 is the best lap for Sampson. As we relate that to our leader right now, that is, what is it, about 6 or 7 tenths of pace difference there between the fastest and the slowest. So on a short track, that is quite substantial.
Short tracks are hard if you're used to other things, and I don't want to go into exact numbers. From what I could tell on his iRacing profile, relatively new driver, you know, has to have the time and experience of others. So if you can get out there and prove that you're taking on that deal and just run the laps, I mean, you'll learn and you'll get there in your career one day. And that's why I do appreciate people sort of taking that L for themselves, their own pride, and just showing up anyway and trying to have fun with it.
Yeah, it reminds me of playing the NASCAR 25 console game with the underrated level 1 car that you get by default. You just feel like you only have 2 gears and everybody else has 4.
Rice.
And yeah,
we yellow, yeah.
the Star Wars Coca-Cola car having a little struggle on the straightaway up front. Let's see, next to the insurance car of all automobiles. A little bit of a kerfuffle there off the bumper of Kane. Let's take a look at the top-down perspective. Of course, it's an insurance car, so we have to assign blame. It's only natural, right?
Who's paying more premiums after that one? I'm just here for safety rating, bro.
Okay, down to the bottom.
I'm looking for 2 myself, and looks a little bit more like it's on the 37 to me, but it's pretty tight.
I'm going to veto, and I'm going to say this is the age-old situation, Howie, that you can't ever really defend or prove against, because if you look at this perspective on the screen, I think Cam would expect the 65 to be higher on corner exit, but he's also not required to do that. Still drove into him. Yeah, you're not required to go all the way up and run the assumed line, but you know, as the passer driver, you are assuming what the other driver is going to do, and as we all know, the age-old saying, what happens when you assume, you know, doesn't always work out. Just to say it politely.
Am I allowed to say it?
Go ahead.
You make an arse out of you and me. Hey!
I don't have a soundboard here in this channel, but we do have. Trying to see if there was any pit stops to be had. It was Mark Herzog did pit, as well as Winstead and Angel Hernandez, but they were only for fuel. based on the timings that are available. So they can make it to the end from here. So if by some stretch this race does go green, I don't know if the Hoosiers would make it 145 laps, but they at least have the ability. I'm sorry, the General tires, whatever they are.
General tires, I mean, you know, you're not up to date with NASCAR sponsors. I used the wrong sponsor for the second tier car. The biblically accurate name is now the O'Reilly Auto Parts car. It's my bad.
You're still allowed to say that until 2026. You're still legally allowed to say that, I think, until December 31st.
So the car's almost as fast as Xfinity Wireless.
Yeah, about that. I was actually joking with one of my friends the other day. I'm like, what is the situation going to be for O'Reilly? They're going to have some kind of useless jingle that they're going to force everyone to say, but I couldn't come up with one, but I don't get paid the marketing budget for that. But we're coming to 1 to green this time by, doubled up, stacked up. Again, as you said, Howie, they're kind of racing on the default restart zone policies here, so they have an equal chance, which basically gives that 83 a disadvantage every time that they're starting on the inside. We'll see what happens.
I think the league has a special rule when you start on green. No, you do start on the leader. Okay, I just had to rehear race control on the voice chat. They sometimes change things up, which means it is on the leader.
Oh, there's the jump.
Again, the green goes, and I feel like the free can react to this a little bit better.
Now that time by Bossy got the boss of starts there, gets the advantage, 4/10. Cummins will preserve the second spot, but the person who, again, just hasn't gotten the start at all that he's needed is Baxter in the 58. That Crown Royal car taking me back to the old IROC days. The Crown Royal IROC series for us aging folks that would know that from the early 2000s. But Gibson into the wall there here on Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, destroying the Taco Bell car and scraping the paint. That's not ideal. But here comes Caleb Brown working through the field. Where did he start on the day? Let's refresh our memories. Well, I don't know. It's felt more impressive than the stat has. I feel like he's made more passes, but he's trying to make one now underneath Honeycutt.
So we're at 58 and then 90 doing the same with more drivers heading to the bottom now. Oh, he's just a little bit fast, but he goes into Honeycutt and it just sort of resets the whole dynamic. Now trying in the middle of the track, could get exit speed here. Oh, he's slipping and sliding. He keeps it pointed forwards just barely. That was a pretty good save. It wasn't award-worthy, but that was a pretty good save to make that one work. I mean, it does feel like nothing's working well on the track right now.
And he was trying to get to the top of the track as quickly as possible to preserve his position over the battle behind. But there is Terry Brooks. Remember our Ricky Rudd Save of the Race award, not even nominee, our recipient there. He's back up to the 8th spot, and that is Curtis Mitchell going for a slide, going for a pound into the wall. But there was a NASCAR legend there, Howie, and I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was David Pearson. It could have been Richard Petty, but either way, they said the best reason to run against the wall is because when you hit it, it doesn't hurt that hard. It doesn't hurt that bad. And that same kind of applies to damage. If you're running this close to the wall as it is, just getting a little bump or a scrape really isn't going to do too much damage to the car.
I see these cars get looser as the run goes on. They're sliding up the track a lot more than they were earlier. I don't know if it's the temperature, if it's the rubber, if it's the wear, or if it's just the way people are driving through the turns now. But there's nothing worse for the tyres than laterally sliding up the banking. That's a good way to race them into eternity. So I'm starting to have a little bit of fear for the long run of some of these drivers. Got an eye right now on the battle being led by Stephen Gibson as 2 cars, Baxter and Press, challenge for this P3. Up front it's pretty close as well, but starting to see these pockets of duels really go ahead, but we're not finding drivers getting past out. The track position is everything right now.
Yeah, and one thing that I don't think we're actually going to see is, as I was saying, the old dive bomb, slide job, haymaker move, whatever you want to call it, the old dive to the bottom, slide up and cross in front of the driver you're trying to pass. I don't think, given the lines that they're running, that move is really going to come into play here. Very surprised that they are running the middle of the track. I would have assumed that they would essentially wrap that 3rd lane as much as possible, but that lower lane, again, crossing all the way down to the bottom on corner exit, not what I was having on my bingo card. But we'll see what happens here as we close in on the halfway point. 145 divided by 2, Howie, what is that, 77 and a half? I'm usually pretty bad on these odd numbers.
We're going to have to make me search this now. I don't know. 72 and a half.
Ah, bollocks.
Someone get this guy out of the booth.
Bollocks, matey. Bollocks. I'm an idiot sandwich over here. But, some good racing here. Again, a good juxta from what we saw at Pocono. Ironically enough, the under tier series is racing cleaner at a short track comparative to the Premier Series on a large track. I think it makes sense, Howie, but I'll take it. I'm happy about it.
I don't want to know what happens sometimes.
No, don't make the Premier car an ARCA car because of this. Don't make the Premier car an ARCA car because they seem to be racing quite well.
I haven't slept since that race, so, you know, how am I even still here, quite frankly? Even the night lighting couldn't do it to me. Listen, I'm on team give me a Gen 4, but that's just me.
I haven't even bought the car. Ironically enough. That just goes to show me. But here is Terry Brooks with a making like an IHOP, pancakes aside of the 76, and we have some frolicking going on just ahead of that. I think that was Justin Baxter doing his best impression of a dive bomb move. And trying to clear, he didn't clear, and the 90 cut him no brakes.
They've been doing contact off the camera just before this moment. The 58 moved the 90 up the track in order to get this done at all, and then we're still having contact on the way back down. Understeering the whole way up into that car, and then I thought there was just going to be a wreck. This happened like almost twice. They're actually still bumping into each other
we're on the replay right now.
Something's gotten physical.
Yeah, this is that wreck off of turn number 4, and again, just the speeds here and just the nature of the racetrack here kind of allows that to happen, but we're back to live footage and you wouldn't really be able to tell.
I was saying, they were still bumping in live pictures while the replay was running. Like, it was a tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reference to a British pop singer who is now past Olivia Newton-John. Things are getting physical here at IRP side by side. That is Brad Kress. Again, he is a short tracker. Every time I've covered a short track race, whether it be in the Cup Series or here in ARCA or racing with him, he is typically one of the upper echelons in that category, trying to persevere for that 4th spot. And then behind, Terry Brooks. He is slideways at all angles here, trying to sort things out. I think he has just mutilated that right rear in this case in point.
So weird that the car's been gotten on the rear around here. This is usually quite a tight car. The setups do loosen them up, but I mean, I've seen the cars get looser, but to get them on the rear the whole way around for that long, it's impressive work, but it is beating you up right now in the long run, as that is the 316 going around. It's Al Corey and Curtis Mitchell.
And the campers that aren't supposed to be there, we're blocking our pictures of that. Howie, that is, I guess, for depending how you want to look at it, that's a perfectly timed caution for pit strategy, or it completely takes all the strategy out of it there. But that's Al Corey with a double tap to Curtis Mitchell. Corey lost his front clip for about 0.3 of a second. We'll get one more brief look at that from the rear deck lid cam of the 316. There goes Al Corey to the inside. Where did this go pear-shaped? Did Al wash up, or did the 316 run a tighter line?
I'll apologize for washing up, so
there you go.
I'll give you that. There's your answer. But all seems to be good, and well, everyone, a lot of drivers in the pit stops. I was about to say everybody, but obviously not quite everybody as the drivers are lap down are doing their thing. And Mark Herzog stays out.
Now, he did.
He stopped a while ago. Yeah, he's changed his strategy.
He stayed out for fuel a while ago. He stayed out for fuel. He pitted for fuel a while ago, but has not.
He's going in now.
Oh, here he goes. Did he just want to get the lap lead point? I don't even know if that is a point, but he didn't get it either way. And
so we reset things to where they were. It's Bossy and Kundman are favorites of the dynamic duo up here at the front. Where did the 83 go? Feels like he dropped quite a bit back. No, he didn't. I can't do maths. He actually went up. It's because there are multiple purple cars on the track, and I'm thinking, which purple car is which?
Yeah, for real.
You're all purple.
You got the Crown Royal, you got the Twitch car, you have, well, those are the two namely purple ones. Oh, then you have the 90 of Gibson. I think that about wraps it up. You get some purple safer barrier foam blocks in the shot. That could throw you off too.
mean, there's a pink Dylan Freeman close enough. I think it's just that
Well, we don't got to worry about Dylan because
purple.
Dylan's too slow to be in the shot very often.
I wasn't going to say it. I mean, you've chosen no chill today. That's been your.
I mean, I'm still
landed.
the fact that he said that shredded lettuce is a step up over leaf lettuce on a cheeseburger. I've just lost all respect.
I mean, that was an extensive debate that moderators did have to lock on the Discord after 48 hours of some of the most violent arguing I've seen in the NASCAR community, quite frankly. So, you know, I'll just have you know I didn't play much of a part in it.
I can't kick you out. I can't ask you because I can't afford to lose you out of the booth right now. So your opinion on that will remain private, at least until the end of the broadcast. But into pit lane here, and a very familiar front row, our top two in points. And we'll see what happens here, entering the unnamed restart zone here. Basically, our halfway break will continue here. Let's get going. And then there's the jump by Bossy.
Bossy is not going early. He is waiting for green every single time. And I would have sort of read into this behavior by now and tried to play alongside it. But instead, away he goes. Everybody on the fresh tires. So this is going to be quite the fast run. And we'll see how the lap times change as well. Almost perfectly split in half means we're not going to have that anxiety that you sort of teased that earlier where you were like, oh, drivers can get lucky if the caution comes at the wrong time. Yes, we have lost strategy, but at least we haven't lost that sort of luck-based win. It's now pretty much skill entirely to the end. And I think Kunman will come back. Questions of how these tires are used at the end of the race, that's going to be very interesting.
As we have some good side-by-side back here. That is the 28 of Harmon. He sponsored the Martinsville Cup race and contact with Honeycutt. Honeycutt did a masterful job as we are under caution, and that is Angel Resendez as well as Al Corey and Chad Winstead.
I think these were two separate incidents, and then one just sort of happened. But I think the Al Corey one's the major one.
Winstead to the inside, and again, that's carbon copy of where Al had his issue the first time. Now, what happened? I need a better take of this. Big checkup. Yeah, there was a checkup there, and I just don't think Winstead had fully reacted to it. Now, where does Angel Resendez come into this?
He just does it himself onto the back of the 25.
Oof.
Wasn't even much
and he
of a
already took his
checkup.
fast repair. Remember earlier, he had that very minor scrape, used his fast repair, and he's going to wish he had saved it.
Could have been an accident to leave it ticked.
Yeah.
It's on by default, and that's the saddest.
Yeah, you actually have to go into the INI or the INI files, depending if you want to enunciate it. Turn that off, annoyingly enough. Actually, one of the other things that you have to do in the INI files is you have to uncheck the auto fuel, something that has never favorably been worked for me, ever. I've always had the auto fuel settings screw me up, but it is what it is. You make do with what you make do with. Has come and making a little tap to the rear of Bossy, and there goes Dylan Freeman getting a lap back. I don't recall anything happening to Dylan tonight in terms of damage or any issue. He just must be that slow.
He was a skater boy. He sent me a letter boy. He wasn't good enough for her.
What, did you say sent me a letter, boy?
I said I forgot the lyrics.
He actually has the lyrics on the back bumper of his automobile.
Can you cut that out of the VOD? Can you cut that one out of the VOD? And I'll look them up and I'll do it again.
You know, on the real bumper on the boot of his car is actually...
I'll read them for next time, alright?
I mean, he actually said to me, why do you stop doing Avril Lavigne jokes? And I'm like, because I only know 3 songs. Complicated, Skater Boy, and there's actually a no-name song, When You're Gone. No, there's a 4th one. Hey, you, something about your girlfriend. My chick... You
don't know that one?
No, I do know that. Those are the 4 I know.
Okay.
My chick music phase has ended. I was going back to Kelly Clarkson for a while, but I've since moved on. I since broke away from that. So. Yeah, no.
Welcome to Primetime Racing TV. I mean, we're doing great.
Yeah, this is why I'm still trying to get 1,900 subscribers. Well, the overlay did not dictate that we are on 1 to green, but they're doubling up and stacking up. Therefore, I'm going to make the assertion that we are on 1 to green as Resendez down to the flat there exiting the pits. Still have here, as of lap 80, 25 of the... No, all 26 drivers still on the racetrack here. Just past the halfway point. Can Bossy get that jump that he has been getting, or will Kunman time it just that little bit better? Let's see here. Entering the restart box. And didn't get the jump any better. Let's see Kress, best position. Can he make the inside work here on the restart?
It never quite has. He loses out and out and out to Justin Baxter, who really has that high line pace, and now is going to try it on Kunman on the outside. Everyone else going a little bit lower early in the run. Baxter's just going to be running it straight away as Caleb Brown's on board with the Whiplash Sim Cam telemetry. I think I'm being told to shout that one out, so I will do so.
Big wiggle from Kress, and that's on fresh tires as well.
Been used a little bit, but yeah, I mean, you think like I have no power, I could just put down the gas and then you end up making a mistake every single time and sliding it out anyway. I think
Herzog,
something must have happened.
Herzog having issue, and how this did not bring out a caution is baffling. Big hospital wobble, and he just kind of chopped the nose off of Dylan. And knowing the algorithm, how in the world did that not throw out a caution?
I know one person on another channel has the pet theory that like that they've changed it a bit on the refresh tracks. I think it's because no, I don't have a good reason for that. Looking at the replay myself, but some people seem to think that it's a lot stricter now. But
yeah, the 45-degree angle in relation to past traffic, and he passed him while he was completely backwards. So
did he pass him while he was so slow that he was considered a slow car in himself? Like
that's the only.
Maybe.
Yeah, iRacing has considered the caution algorithm to be the secret sauce, and it's only some of us old timers have tried to reverse engineer it, but either way, Barney, let's just turn the other eye and turn the other cheek and let him go as we keep racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway at IRP here in the triple bypass Cultured Designs 145. Again, this series, the ARCA division, brought to you by Cultured Designs by that number 23 car of Terry Brooks, who has already won our Ricky Rudd Save of the Race Award, and trying to work his way back up to the field here. Started, I think, 3rd or 4th, one of the two, up to the 8th spot. And a bunch of quick cars in front of him. Behind that, again, Matt Harmon battling with Nicholas Deal. I think Harmon, another one of those drivers, Howie, that anytime Matt Harmon sponsors a race, it absolutely goes pear-shaped. So not sponsoring things today, and he's had a pretty quiet and a decent run.
I will say that if you sponsor Martinsville, you just sort of have it coming. Like, I actually don't think 20 cautions at 170 laps in Martinsville is the worst thing you could do compared to how many they did in 75 in Pocono. So, you know, like, it's ultimately
Benson.
what happens when you go into the depths of hell.
Speaking of depths of hell, Benson was trying to put himself there with some significant wall contact through the duration, almost wall road 1 and 2. Wasn't intentional there, so obviously the second career bypass win for Benson is, dare we not say, not happening, but the likelihood is that you're better off buying a Powerball ticket. So, and who is that to the inside? Jim Hubble, that bright yellow Savannah Bananas car, as I like to call it. He's running in the 5-12 and the 15th spot. Any other drivers we haven't spoken of this evening? We got Donald Bristow, number 25 car. Matt Alfredson, his paint scheme did load today, unlike in the Cup broadcast. Connor Rice, I don't think no, he spun out early. We talked about him. And David Rhodes, I don't think I've talked about him. I'm saving myself a through the field just by going through drivers I haven't spoken about today. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think everybody else has gotten on one way or another.
How are we missing the whole front of a car there? Al Corey is just running around missing a whole front bumper. Did we like miss that? Or no, he must have used the faster car, the last wreck, and now he's just...
Right. Yeah, Al did. Yeah, he has already since used the faster pay because he was involved in that wreck where he had said he apologized to somebody, and then he was involved in the subsequent wreck that we just had that caution on. So he must have used it on that first one. But now, I mean, IRP known for some modified racing, so he's just emulating that. Shouldn't have any problems overheating the tires or overheating the brakes.
Justin Baxter just lost the place by running into the back of Samson Lewis Jr. I'm actually very surprised both cars stayed pointed forwards, but that's slow up on the pace. It could have even damaged the front of the car if it was unlucky, and it will get a caution anyway. It's David Rhodes who's having a horrible day up against the wall. Whoa, this is a big one. You're gonna like the replay of this one.
Well, that's a big statement, but let's test the accuracy of it. Here coming through 3 and 4, that's Baxter. Wait, no, why am I looking at him? I'm supposed to be looking. Oh, I clicked the wrong.
You're going to go back a bit further to see the magic.
Whoa! Tony Hawk would be proud.
So that's 2 cars into the back of Samson Lewis Jr. in the span of a lap, and this time it ends in something much more lethal. This is the one thing about being a car that is very, very, very slow, is that I always respect trying, but it's very hard to know where to be, and then it just runs the risk of things going a little bit wrong.
We'll get one more look at that.
I mean, on how many times you get lapped, eventually you'll be in someone's way, you know?
Yeah, it's blue flag rules. I mean, the blue flag says to get out of the way. Yeah, Winstead there is the one that just put him up on the fence, so that is impressive. But yeah, as the point says, as I said, sometime when you're a lapper, you try to get out of the way, or even if you don't try to get out of the way and you run a consistent line, if you are just that slow to the point you said, Howie, even if you are running a consistent line, you know, you won't understand this as well. Like American baseball, if you throw a fastball at 100 miles an hour, when they throw a changeup at 70 miles an hour, you're just not ready for it. That speed difference, you can't calculate it in your head. And I think that could be part of the issue. Drivers are expecting clearance in certain places, and when the speed is that different, you know, you lose that depth perception.
More and more drivers going laps down. We now have Dylan Freeman, Mark Herzog, David Rhodes, Al Corey, who is slow on the pace, 2 down with the damaged car. Retirements from Winstead, Resendez, probably Samson Lewis Jr. now, and Curtis Mitchell. So we're seeing more attrition and more cautions than I'd expect for a field that has been racing very, very well. But I think the accidents have just come about. Some of them have been sloppy, some of them have just been stuff that happens. I'm hoping for a good run around out this race. It would be 17 minutes of green flag running if we had it, and that would be a chance for a real dash to the finish. But we've seen how these restarts always go with Adam Bossy.
Yeah, Alan Cudman dropping back there. Like, is he trying to strategize and time it here? I don't know if they actually, how you'd be able to tell me if they have the restart zone rule on. I doubt it.
It's not on.
Yeah,
they are just going on green. They're just going on leader.
So I was going to say, you could kind of cheese things up if you wanted to, but then you'd have to deal with admin after. So take your battles as you please. But coming into the restart box, again, Bossy just has it down, and he'll get probably the best jump I think he's got, but Cudman will get second and clear with no issue. Baxter finally getting able to take advantage of an outside restart. He's trying to get by and clear Brad Kress, but Kress has been pretty good on that inside.
Gibson struggling on that high side. Kenneth Brown is constantly on his rear, but we've seen which line has become the advantage so far in this race, and I think we have another wreck to slow us down again.
We started off so well, Howie. Oh, Dylan!
He always plays. He's still, you know, in like we've been in like 3 officials since the Daytona incident, and he still holds it against me on the mic. One time his friend was like, "Hey, remember when you wrecked Dylan on Daytona?" And I was like, "I don't know who you are."
So here's his faux pas. He should have rolled it and stayed off the track, and we would have stayed green, but he locked it up, stayed on the track. Clearly that was an intentional decision because he wanted to throw a caution to save his track position. So It was intentional race manipulation by Dylan Freeman. PV3 maximum penalty, big bad, kick him out of the league.
Yeah, I don't make assumptions like that. So I'll leave you.
For viewers who just randomly stumble in, I'm just roasting him, just having a good time. We're buddies with these guys. I race with them on off nights when I'm not broadcasting, just having fun. Although I don't like Dylan because of his take on lettuce, but that is a topic for a different day. But we are on the back end of the race, Howie. We are in the final third. I can at least do that vague level of percentages there. So Bossy has led the most laps, that there of 96 of the 103. I'm not willing to say he has the best car, but I think he just has the best car and the best pace for the runs that we've been getting here on the back end of the race.
Baxter has the leader's line again this time, so hopefully he might be able to get a launch and get back his placement from pole. Our hardest charger, I think, is Matt Harmon, started 24th, now 10th on the road, just being in the right place for some of these incidents that have happened, I think. I think if you can't beat them like Cunman can't beat them, then be someone like Baxter who hopefully start to notice the pattern on the inside and can just run away with it. If you let Cunman sort of keep that P2, you're not really going to get yourself through, but Cunman's faster on these long runs, but these runs are not getting very long, so that's a problem.
Indeed, here the case. So all in all, again, this race started off quite fabulous. I think we ran about 45 laps, something about that. No, we ran about 30 laps, and then we made it till about lap 70. Then we had that halfway caution where, you know, everybody pit for those tires and was able to make it to the end. But again, a short track race, Howie, that's just what happens, you know. Close quarters racing, the drivers have patience, but at the end of the day, you know, as I said, Olivia Newton-John, things can get physical. On these short tracks, you could bump and rub and get away with it, but sometimes it's what we've been seeing. You can't get away with it, and for some cases, we're just having drivers self-spin, so clearly there's a multitude of issues here at IRP.
Especially unusual given that the tyres have not been heavily used because they've been pacing for so long. So they're still on the relatively fresh side. Next restart going underway. How are the lines going to react to this? Come and hang it back a bit just to try and get the read. Feels like an agonizing amount of time. Here we go.
And there goes Cunman. I'll give him credit. That's probably the best timing he's done, and I'm not going to say it was great, but best timing he's had thus far, within about 0.2 of a second here. Baxter to the inside, and he's trying to clear Crest. Crest now to the outside. I'd say that's probably the better place to be. They'll go side by side. That allows the top two to pull away as nearly a wreck between the 90 and the 17, but they keep it forward.
Caleb Brown dropping like a rock after that contact. No, he's now behind James Honeycutt. That slowed him down so bad, and there could have even been damage on one of the two cars. Gibson's riding the wall like Ross Chastain. Just a few laps from too far away from the ending to pull that one off, I'm afraid. Cunman's within striking range. If this stays green, it's going to be about that passing game, but that's been really hard around here. How aggressive does he get to make this happen?
And Nicholas Deal, hard contact with the wall beyond just the normal taps that we've seen here. That monster Menards car. And speaking of monster hits, I think that was Honeycutt mutilated the fence. Now Terry Brooks trying to fill in the gap to the outside of the racetrack. Don't think he'll have the steam to get there, but behind him, Caleb Brown, who has been up and down throughout the day, and he's trying to get to the outside, use that little bit of banking, but Brooks wrapping the bottom quite favorably as we go and check up front. Cunman going up to the wall, drops back, and here's where you expect that run off the top, Howie, but it's not seeming to get that bite. Usually the bite off the top will get you a 10th or two, but that inside, it's really gripping tonight.
It grips, but side by side it ends up being slower. On exit, it's probably faster through the whole turn if you're able to do it and run as right as you want on the exit. And it's only really been very bad when you've been trying to pass someone and you've been a little bit pinned down there. Passing has just been so hard. But I think you get out there in the lead, you can just hold it so consistently. And Adam Bossy only really needs to do it about 33 more times around the track in order to make this count. Brad Press isn't out of this entirely if something happens up ahead, but they have kept it clean, so that's going to add an extra dimension.
Lap times did go to the advantage of second and third last time round by roughly half a tenth, so let's see what it equates to this time round, and that's about another just about a tenth, and Brad Kress over a tenth faster than the top two in front of him. Now that's a good thing, but as we've said, as you said, Howie, the passing here, that's the hard part. But if you have the faster car, sometimes you can make those things happen if you can utilize different lanes. But we're just, well, actually, I'll take that back, because Kunman, probably the first time today, I think he's hit the wall, but didn't cost him too much.
A lot of consistency among these top drivers has helped them sort of stay patient and focused at the front of the field. I also wouldn't count out Baxter entirely, but yeah, you can go faster and then you're within that sort of 2/10 bubble, and then it all just goes to hell. But like, what are you going to do at the end of a race in order to seal the deal? I mean, I'd make a move and I'd try something a bit outrageous, and I'm not trying to wreck someone, but you're going to have to start making some sends on them. Hunman's not in range, but Kress is in range to do that to him.
Yeah, I saw Kress do something a little different through 1 and 2, right in the tire tracks of Kunman here through 3 and 4. But it seems through 1 and 2, well, just as I say that, do a little bit different. There's Kunman running a higher lane. Because as you know, with the ovals here, Howie, a lot of people will look at the track map and say it's symmetrical, but even here at IRP, that turns drive a tiny bit differently. So something may work on one end of the track, but you can't make it bite down on the other side.
Time is very much running out. 10 minutes, a green flag running to go for drivers, so still a little bit of time, and maybe the drivers out behind have to hope that the ones in front use their tyres a bit too much, but I don't see a big difference in the way they've driven over this run. I think Rossi has just been so consistent in his own head. Here's a battle thrown behind. It's Honeycutt and Gibson. He's up miles off the lead pack, but still could amount to something. We've seen a lot of action from drivers like Caleb Brown throughout this race. They've been a little bit of everywhere on the track.
Yeah, we have a brief battle here with Deal and who is that, Harmon, but up front I saw the gap dip into the teens, into the 1/10 bubble here, as there is somebody on the verge of a lap down. That's Caleb Rice. Hopefully there's no interference here with the leaders, as we've seen in the past with some other drivers here, but coming down right to the rear deck. But this is the closest that Kunman has been. As Kunman led a lap here today, he's led 5 of them, and just about the other 114 have gone to the number 83, but perhaps end of the race. And here comes Samson Lewis. Remember, he's kind of been involved in some ruckus here today, and 2 lappers directly in front of this lead lap battle.
Getting a nice first-person view as Kunman is getting closer, and now lap traffic could actually complicate this race, because getting past these guys, some are going to do it fast, some are going to do it slow. This is actually quite the time, but it's dynamic to make itself present. Some staying low, some staying high, changing our dynamic. Now it's a 65 in the way, and this is the best run I've seen Kunman
that was close.
Oh, Brad Kress is going to get held up completely. That 65 is just running no good. It's damaged Connor Rice's car, so he's struggling to keep it really pointed, but that's given time to Baxter now to potentially get it done on Kress.
Yeah, I was actually hoping that time that the lappers would stay to the low side of the track. I know they're running low, but here it's easier here to shift high than it is to shift low, just due to the nature of this racing circuit here. But through 1 and 2, really high. That was a deep diamond approach by Kunman all the way to the wall, but cut it down low. That really seemed to bite, and that's something that Bossy's going to have to accommodate for. Cutting down to the bottom here. Kunman trying to get the run. Let's see if he does it again. Let's see if he does that diamond. He goes all the way. No, he's going to just send it to the top. Can he cut to the bottom? Can he get the corner exit? Answer is not really.
I'd continue giving it time, because this is going to bed in and in and in all the way to the finish line, but it's also just proving hard to pass as ever. So really, the next 10 laps are going to be for finding the weakness, and the final 10 are going to be for actually making the move. You need to set these up quite far in advance, it seems, around here.
Herzog got underneath Gerald there, dead sideways in that number 57 at a right-hand corner. Right here, turn off turn number 2 to save it. Did just that. There goes Benson to the outside. And we are under caution. It is Honeycutt, I believe. No, it's not. Is it Benson?
Okay,
it's whoa.
There's a lot going on here because there's also wrecking under caution. So
that's always
get
dandy.
ready.
All right, so let's start here. This is Herzog and Benson. We're already wrecking, so they had already wrecked, but that's Caleb Price. So that's part 2, but now we need to investigate part 1 with Caleb Bryce. And that was with Herzog, as I expected. No, that was with, sorry, Honeycutt, as I... No, 90, Gibson. There it is. I knew Honeycutt was involved.
Nothing like a good end of race caution to make everybody panic.
Again, we are just, I don't know, I'm going to get one more. There's no pit stops to be had, so I can kind of replay a little longer than I usually do. 90 into the 65. Was that retaliatory or bad luck? You can make your own assertions there, but then here comes the wreck after the wreck. And good times to be had.
Worse and worse. I would say it's like looking at a car crash where you can't look away, but unfortunately that comparison doesn't work because it is literally looking at a car crash.
Yeah, there's actually been a big plane crash I've been looking at here in the backgrounds, but...
yeah, I've heard about that one. That, you know, I'll just ask what Brown could do for you, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, and just say there might be a Mayday investigation special to watch in about 2 to 3 years, but... either way, well, hope all, because that is actually a quite serious situation, so hope that is, I mean, it's not good, but, you know, you just hope for the best of it either way. But 17 to go, and interestingly enough there, Howie's, the 3, I think, objectively is faster now. He has the run. He think if he was to get the lead somehow, he would pull away. It's just going to make this the most pressured restart. He hasn't been able to stay with Bossy once. He's not timed one, you know, more than a 7 out of 10 on the scale. But if he wants any chance, he's going to have to step it up that extra notch.
Is it going to work when the whole race has been about sizing up like a run over a long period of time? I mean, it would need to be pretty extraordinary because one thing Adam Bossy's been doing is good launches off the line.
And as you said, where they're not necessarily using the restart box, there is a little bit more leverage with what that outside car can do. You can't be ahead of the leader at the green flag drop. You will get the black flag there, but you know, you can kind of pull off a little bit more in the names of tomfoolery or just luck to try to time it. Of course, you just have to deal with the administration after, and if you kind of do it a little too egregiously, but he's going to try to do what he can and stay with that 83. This is the money restart. Will it be the final one? My vote is no, but it very well could be. But let's take a gander here. Go into the blip cam here to take a look at this restart in the box. Bossy to the inside, Kunman to the outside. Let's go, and there's the jump once more. Crest trying to take advantage, getting a push from Baxter is the 3 of Kunman.
Baxter's wall riding to make up for that car push, and he's going to get himself sacrificed here to Stephen Gibson, who has quite the run on the inside. He's even going to try it on Brad Kress. That's looking pacey on the inside now. They're looking so scary up against the wall though, and that contact slows him down again. Kress is just on the wall in the way of Baxter's progression here, and I'd watch out for Caleb Brown just behind, who won't make it free, but certainly will become a part of this.
Oh, contact between Baxter and Gibson through 3 and 4. I think we've seen this verse already today as trying to clear each other, diving it on in there. There's Caleb Brown kissing the fence. Now the 90 is going to try to clear. He will clear off of turn number 2, getting in front. Now Caleb Brown with a big dive to the inside of Baxter, but he will redact that dive and fall back in the line. Honeycutt, who was just involved in that little incident, trying to work his way through, as well as the sideways driver of the race. There's Terry Brooks.
getting pretty active near the end of this, as you'd expect really from the last 5 minutes of a short track race. We're not going to stay this single file for long. Up ahead, Alan Kunman's trying everything. He's just always on a different line, always trying to see, can I go faster here? Can I go faster there? The answer is consistently, no, we can't make up that boundary. Further back, we have a lot of racing,
Caution.
but would you believe it, we're yellow again.
And Alfredson, we got Shaw, we have Rice.
Rice just showed up to the scene later, so he wasn't the main one.
All right, so it started with Benson. Shaw, I'm sorry. Not meaning to laugh at somebody, but I just did. It was.
What did we say about Benson winning for the second time here?
I said buy a Powerball ticket, and he hit the wall. I mean, did he have enough space? He hit the wall, but either way, him and Alfredson. There goes Shaw, self-spinning himself into the wall, and there goes Rice self-spinning, and then there's Sampson, who's literally came to a stop, which can't fault that. That's the safest thing that you can do in that situation. But back to live pictures. This will put us in the scope of about 7 laps to go. Again, no tires, no pit stops to be had. Everybody had one set. Everybody took it at halfway. So another heat cycle, which, you know, can affect the handling a little bit. But more importantly, another restart for Kunman to try to get a better jump.
But you saw our aggressive drive as well in the last restart. How do you think they're going to react on this one? How many more yellows do you think we're going to get? I'd say the race has been quite good, but it's gotten scrappier as it's gone on.
I think mathematically, I think we're probably capped at 3. I know we get 2 green, white checkers, and probably the mathematics, 3, maybe 4 if we absolutely wreck at every possible instance. Maybe we can squeeze 4, but I'd rather not take that, as Sampson will get 1 lap back, 5 down to 4 laps.
You're saying that like it's a challenge. Well, they can do 3 more cautions. Yeah, okay, let's do 3 more cautions.
I mean, just it's technically possible, but just because something's technically possible does not mean we need to prove it into scientific fact via experimentation.
Yeah, indeed. Listening in on the race control, had a few more cautions than they'd like to see. So let's not use the green white checkers.
Harry, I know you're in the sim. I know you have your overlay software up. Do you know the caution count, or do you want to go along with our game that we like to play?
I could find it, but I don't have it on.
So what's your guess?
It's 7, isn't it?
I'll one-up you and say 8, but I think you're probably right. Survey says 8. Hot diggity dog.
I was thinking it could have been 6, to be honest.
So that's 2 in a row. I guessed right on our game at Pocono, so I'm now right on 2 caution games in a row. I should give myself a raise for that one, but we're going to talk to HR about that. But let's see what happens here. Coming to 6 laps to go here at IRP. It should be about 2.5 minutes of racing if we can do it under the green flag. That jump from the outside. Can Kunman get it? He hasn't got it all night, and he's still not going to get it. But can he stay close enough? I'd argue yes.
Kunman's going in hard though on the inside. Look at the size of that send. That is a driver that is desperate to get it done, but those sends, they haven't really worked very much. But if you're going to do it, now is the time. And you can see desperation in the way that car moves. Bossy's moving to the bottom. He sees it coming, wants to cover it off. I don't see a pass around the outside happening here, but you can see Kunman just does not care about these tyres anymore. There's no point in caring about them. He's going hard.
And he got super loose off the corner. That may have been all she wrote. A big contact there from the 90. That puts Kunman in the wall. Gibson into the back of Kunman. Kunman sideways. Can he save it? Positions dropping. And there they go 3 wide. That is a heartbreak story.
That is more of a heartbreak, more of a disaster, I think, for such a racer. He's run it so hard that he absolutely dive-bombed that turn every single lap, and it's finally got 1 step too wrong.
Yeah, as you saw, he just lost the momentum, and I think that lost momentum You know, a little bit of contact there, whether short track racing, however you want to verbiage it, but Gibson gave him a little tap into the wall, and it's either back of the shot into the wall, trying to overdrive and preserve the positions. But Brad Kress looking to the inside right now in the 90, and then in the 9 car, on the 90 car, and just driving into the distance. 2 laps to go for Bossy, who's led all but about 6 laps tonight.
Been a race that has proven that if you can get that P1, it's very, very, very hard to get past them around here. Have been a lot of mistakes, but among the top, the standard of racing has been pretty strong, and we've seen quite a few different approaches, some physical, some more cerebral, and some pretty desperate. That's Cunliffe now back in 7th, and he could lose it to Herzog, so down and out, and almost nothing's going to stop Bossy here from taking this win. Yeah,
through 3 and 4 for the final time, leading over 100 laps here. Dominating effort. The Twitch car puts it in victory circle here. That will help the points lead out. Bossy gets the win. Gibson got a second, and Brad Kress secures a podium here at Lucas Oil Raceway IRP, and Kunman going for the race win. He'll have to settle for a relegation of the 7th spot here, and his displeasure with the 90 being shown there in the pit entry.
It's not going to help the championship as well. It was close between the two, and that's gone. I mean, he's apologized on it for the chat, and he said, I'm sorry to whoever it was in second, but very clearly that is an annoyed driver who, I don't know if I want to talk to him after this race, quite frankly. I'll keep an eye on the text channels, okay?
As Bossy will do the burn down here. He was 7 points behind coming into today's race, so I'm going to ascertain that he's probably going to be the points leader by a spot or two once this all shuffles out. But let's go up and start our post-race show here as the fireworks go off there in the distance off of turn number 3. Bossy getting the margin of victory here today of 7/10 over Gibson. Brad Kress in 3rd, Justin Baxter in 4th. We got Caleb Brown in 5th. Terry Brooks, our series sponsor, in 6th. Kunman relegates back to 7th after that contact. Herzog in 8th. Matt Harmonton 9th. And then James Honeycutt, he had a chaotic day. He rounds out our top 10.
But back, plenty of drivers here today. 26th enter Cameron Keynes and Lando had a Nicholas Deal. Donald Bristow, Jason Benson, who did not win the 2 peak, but did get the lead lap. Dylan Freeman is in 15th ahead of Matt Alfredson, Mark Jarrell, Jim Hubble, Adam Shaw, and Connor Rice, first driver a lap down.
And Samson Lewis, he was involved in a little bit here today. Al Corey, the boss man, 2 significant contacts. 22nd, David Rhodes, Chad Widstead, Angel Resendez, and Curtis Mitchell rounding out our grid of drivers here today. So we'll start our post-race show. We'll head down to Victory Circle. We'll find our race winner in the form of Adam Bossy here, the number 83 car. He is here with us. Adam, you led, what's our final take on the day? You led 139 laps. Alan was giving you everything he had there. He got relegated to the back, but just how on point was that 83 tonight?
It felt really good out on track. You know, it was turning really good center of the corner, and I was getting really good runs off. And Alan was scaring me for a little bit because he looked a little bit better entry in the middle. So we kind of had opposites there, but you know, track position was king tonight, and I was able to just stay in front of him just enough throughout the entire race to keep him kind of behind me and play a little defense. So.
Now, I'll have you do a little tech talk for me because I'm kind of the Darrell Waltrip with my racing knowledge. I haven't got to be on track as often, but very surprised at how well the middle low lane was working here at IRP. Is that kind of an anomaly here with the ARCA cars, or is that just kind of a new thing here at IRP? Because didn't seem like ripping the wall the whole time was as fast as it usually is.
I think it depends on the car and how much power the car outputs, right? So, like, if you took an Xfinity car here, I think you'd be struggling to run on the bottom because you're gonna slide the tires every lap. But you know, in the ARCA car, it produces a lot of different lines. I think that first couple of laps of the race, I was up on the top side making it work, and you know, once I got an opening on the bottom, I knew that's kind of where the car felt good in practice. So I knew that's kind of where I wanted to be for the race, and you know, from that standpoint, I could look in the mirror and figure out what guys were doing behind me. But if we would have had a long green flag run, I don't know how that low lane would have held up. I probably would have had to change up my line a little bit and hold off them guys behind me.
Yeah, definitely worked out here today, and just looking towards the end of the season, you'll probably be the points leader after this one, with Allen finishing down in 7th. Then we have 3 to go, Wilkesboro Fairgrounds and The Rock. How you feeling in a tight championship picture to pull this one off here for the whole season picture?
Tonight was kind of status quo for me, and I think it's going to be the same the next 3 weeks. You just got to finish one position better than the 3 car out there. So as long as I do that, I think we'll feel pretty good. I know North Wilkesboro is a strong track for Allen. I know Fairgrounds might be a strong track for me, and I think we're all going to be chasing a couple of guys at Rockingham. So.
All right, well, it'll be interesting to see here. You might see me on track for the last 2, because I won't be in the booth with you guys. But either way, congrats on a win here today, man, and we'll see what you can do at the final theater to wrap this up.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
And then Howie will interview a second place, I think, question mark. I don't see Stephen Gibson here, so audible on that. Have you talked to Brad Kress?
Brad Kress running sort of near the top of that pack for a lot of this race. How did you handle that field?
I really don't know, to be honest. I really don't like that place. I'm just glad I survived it.
Which lines were working or not working for you? Did it change over the race, or did you have something consistent that you stuck with?
Well, when the race first started, normally you want to run the high side around here, but once I got up to about 3rd or 4th, I was watching Adam and Allen in 1st and 2nd, because they were obviously doing something better than I was, because they were leading, and it looked like they were going almost kind of making a diamond out of the corner. So that's kind of what I started doing, and it seemed to work pretty good.
Rest of the race is on the season. Are there any places you're looking forward to more than others?
I don't really know what's up next.
Cough, Wilkesboro Fairgrounds and The Rock.
Oh, I like all those places, so any one of them I'm good with.
Well, a good race, a good result, even no matter how hard it was for you. So thanks for coming in and having a chat.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, and I do not see Gibson there. I know he is new-ish to the league, so probably didn't even know that this race was broadcasted. I would take an assertion at. But Howie, a interesting race to say it generically here at IRP. Started off nice, a little rough around the edges, but ultimately, I don't even know if I could say the fastest car won, but he was in the best spot to take advantage of it.
Very, very fun out there. A few more cautions than I'd expect, but it was all just sort of small mistakes around there. Some of the quality of the racing was quite good, but the cars did struggle to pass, and that sometimes adds a little bit more tension to the short track racing, really.
Absolutely. When you can't get by easily, you got to force your way through. But either way, like, share, comment, subscribe if you have not already done so. On our mission to 1,900 subscribers, we'll be live tomorrow night with the Elbows Out Multi-Class Racing League. Brad will be there with Patrick. We will be live on Thursday with the E-Car Short Track Late Model Series. And we'll wrap things up and start next week with another week of Triple Bypass and all of the fun. We will even have our All-American 400, our biggest broadcast of the year. That'll be next Saturday night. Make sure you stay along for the ride. But tonight will be Corey and Howie signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.